Once upon a time, nestled in a serene village embraced by rolling hills and meadows adorned with vibrant wildflowers, lived a young lad named Jacob. With bright eyes, curly hair, infectious laughter, and a generous spirit, he carried a heart full of curiosity that often led him on delightful adventures. The air was imbued with the anticipation of Passover, and Jacob's mother, caught up in the joyous preparations, was bustling away in the kitchen, crafting delectable dishes for the upcoming celebration. In the midst of this festive atmosphere, Jacob couldn't resist the allure of the outdoors and dashed into the fields to join his friends in play. While Jacob was joyfully playing in the sunlit fields with his friends, a spark of excitement lit up the air when one of his companions, David, shared thrilling news. "Hey, Jacob, did you hear? There's a special visitor coming to our village, a rabbi named Jesus. He's known for doing amazing things. We should go and see him," David exclaimed, his eyes wide with anticipation. Jacob's curiosity piqued. "Really? That sounds incredible. But I need to ask my mom if it's okay." Eager to catch a glimpse of the renowned teacher, Jacob sprinted back home. Finding his mother, who was still immersed in Passover preparations, he tugged at her apron strings, excitement radiating from his eyes. "Mom, can I go with my friends to see Rabbi Jesus? They say he's special and does miracles," Jacob pleaded. His mother, pausing for a moment from her bustling kitchen activities, smiled at her enthusiastic son. "Of course, Jacob dear, but promise me you'll be careful. And take this," she added, swiftly packing 2 fishes and 5 loaves of bread into a small basket, in case you get hungry. Grateful for his mother's permission and the packed lunch, Jacob dashed back to his friends in the field. "Guys, my mom said I can go, and she even packed some food for us," he exclaimed, revealing the basket with a triumphant grin. Together, the group of friends set off towards the village square, their laughter and chatter echoing through the warm afternoon air. Jacob couldn't help but feel a sense of anticipation, wondering what wonders Rabbi Jesus might share with them on this extraordinary day. Perched on a mountainside, Jacob marveled at the vast gathering that sprawled before him. Thousands upon thousands of people, their faces eager and expectant, sat in anticipation as they absorbed the teachings of the extraordinary Rabbi Jesus. The atmosphere was charged with an energy that Jacob had never experienced before, a sense of collective wonder and curiosity. As the teachings continued, Jacob couldn't help but be drawn into the powerful words that resonated through the mountain air. The sun cast a warm glow over the assembly, creating an atmosphere of tranquility and receptiveness. Jacob overheard Jesus directing a question to Philip. "Where shall we buy bread for these people to eat?" Jesus inquired, his voice carrying a gentle authority. Philip, a disciple of Jesus, responded with a mix of bewilderment and practicality. It would take more than half a year's wages to buy enough bread for each one to have a bite. The enormity of the crowd's hunger seemed to weigh heavily on Philip's mind. In the midst of the intriguing conversation between Jesus, Philip, and Andrew, Jacob sensed a calling within him to be a part of this extraordinary moment. As the words hung in the air, he discreetly edged toward Andrew, Simon Peter's brother, his heart racing with a mixture of excitement and uncertainty. Quietly, Jacob approached Andrew and, with a knowing look, handed over the small, woven basket that cradled the lunch his mother had thoughtfully prepared: 2 fishes and 5 loaves of bread. The aroma of the freshly baked bread wafted through the air. With a hushed yet earnest tone, Jacob engaged Andrew in conversation. "Sir," he whispered, "may I offer my lunch? It's not much, but it's from my mother's kitchen, and I want to share it with Rabbi Jesus." Andrew, his eyes reflecting a mix of surprise and gratitude, accepted the basket from Jacob. As their eyes met, a silent understanding passed between them, a shared belief in the possibility that something remarkable could unfold. In a gentle yet purposeful manner, Andrew stepped forward, presenting the basket to Jesus. "Master," he began, "here's a boy who has brought forward his lunch, 2 fishes and 5 loaves of bread. It may seem insignificant, but I wanted to share it with you." With a compassionate gaze that seemed to reach into the very essence of each person present, Jesus gracefully accepted the humble offering from Jacob. The small basket, filled with 2 fishes and 5 loaves of bread, became a symbol of simplicity and sincerity in the hands of the extraordinary rabbi. As Jesus held the basket, a moment of sacred silence descended upon the mountainside. He lifted the basket towards the heavens. In a voice that carried both warmth and solemnity, he gave thanks for the offering before him. The sun's golden rays bathed the scene, as if nature itself was honoring this sacred act. Then, with a gentleness that belied the enormity of the task ahead, Jesus began to break the bread. Having broken the bread, Jesus took what he needed. Then, turning to his disciples, he instructed them with a voice that carried both authority and love. "Share these provisions with the rest of the crowd. Let the spirit of generosity guide your hands, for in giving, we receive." The disciples began to distribute the multiplied loaves and fishes among the vast assembly. As the baskets of multiplied loaves and fishes circulated among the multitude, there was 12 basketfuls of leftover. Miraculously, the small offering had become an abundant feast, and a sense of awe and wonder spread through the multitude. A hushed murmur swept through the crowd. Whispers of amazement and realization passed from person to person like a gentle breeze. The people, witnessing this divine display of abundance, began to murmur with a growing sense of recognition and reverence. "Surely this is the prophet who is to come into the world," they declared, their voices carrying a blend of certainty and humility. In that moment, it was as if the collective heart of the crowd recognized something profound in the presence of Jesus. Dear children, Jesus took the little, seemingly insignificant offering of a young boy, just 2 fishes and 5 loaves of bread, and turned it into something extraordinary. Now, what does this teach us about our relationship with Jesus? It tells us that we can trust him completely, even with what may seem small or insignificant in our lives. Just like the boy who offered his simple lunch, Jesus can take what little we have and turn it into something amazing. It's a lesson about faith, my love. Sometimes we might feel like what we have to offer, our talents, our time, or our love, is not enough. But when we trust Jesus and offer what we have with faith, he can use it in ways that surpass our understanding. It's not about the size of our offering. It's about the faith and trust we place in him. So, when you feel like what you have is not much, or when you face challenges, remember the story. Trust in Jesus and offer what you have, no matter how little it may seem. Have faith that he can take our small offerings and turn them into something big. just like he did with the loaves and fishes.